Hey Tommy, I love this at-home edition of TFL Dude I Love or Hate My Ride, because today we are doing classic cars over here at the Classics channel. So what have we gotten from our friends at home?
Today we've got 3 classic trucks from all over the world, and we are starting with James. James is one of the coolest Defenders money can buy. It's a 130, which means it's a long wheelbase. It has a lot of doors, it's got a lot of bed capacity, and steel wheels.
And James, at the end of your video, keep in mind we're going to rate your ride. And I know you're down under, but that's not going to save you from my harsh criticism.
Okay, Dad, ready?
Yeah.
G'day TFL fans, my name is James Laurie and today I'm going to show you around my Defender 130 TD5 Australian edition. I'm 16 years of age and this has been my dream vehicle since I was born. When you talk about Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, they are perfect, there's no problem. But this one, oil leak. It leaks a bit of oil, it's a brick and not the best fuel economy. But overall, I don't care. It's something that I am proud to drive and proud to own. Start the front of the vehicle, we can see we have 2 GME aerials, one for extending mobile range and CB radio. And indeed a big light bar and 2 rear lights and the classic oil leak number plate to make a bit of fun of the old girl. Under here is where it all matters. A very torquey TD5 engine with originally around 112 to 20 horsepower depending on if you got a good engine. This one's got a small ECU remap giving it a bit more boost. And it indeed has a little Garrett turbo on there. If we move to the side we can see that there are a couple of elements blacked out along the vehicle with the door handles and indeed the mirrors and some of the tinted and window glazed glass. We see we have our KM2's BF Goodrich tyres. Under here you can see the upgraded 2-inch lift I've done to this vehicle with an extra spacer along the top just to give it a bit more ground clearance for the extra big tyres I'm planning to put in the future. I've made some homemade drawers that fold out with a kitchenette and a small box here for all your cooking gear. If we move inside we can see it's a very traditional Land Rover interior but been upgraded with some Exmor trim seats just to help out with a bit of comfort level. Some nice little Land Rover touches from the hysterical Land Rover enthusiast standing behind the camera and a nice upgraded radio. As a cassette player you can't really find many with my kind of Bruce Springsteen inspired music anymore. Quite a spacious cabin. Underneath is the big strong traditional Land Rover upgraded diff for the 130 models that allows it to have 1 tonne in the back and 4 tonne towed behind it. Very proud to own this vehicle indeed. It is a absolute spirited drive wherever you're going, and to have a classic Land Rover wave everywhere you go is a welcome sight to me.
Good on you, mate.
A little much, Dad.
Is that too much?
It's
right.
too much.
All right, put a shrimp on the Barbie.
No.
No.
Oh, jeez,
right.
Dad.
I'm going to give him a 8 out of 10, and I'm going to take away 2 points for those shorts, James. Sorry.
I'm going to give you a 9 out of 10. I think the shorts have nothing to do with the truck, and this Defender is one of the coolest Land Rovers ever made. I love the steel wheels, the roux lights in the front, the old school kind of bush lights. It's a really well done build. And it's a diesel. What more could you want?
All right, congratulations. All right, what's next?
Next up is Travis. Now Travis has a Ford F-150 and it's a 2003, so it's not all that old, but I think this generation of F-150 is soon to be very collectible because these are highly underrated trucks.
All right, let's watch.
Hello, this is Travis from Jacksonville, Florida, and this is my 2003 Ford F-150 Sport 4x4. I've had it for about 6 months now, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. It's got 176,000 miles on it. It has the 5.4 Triton V8 with 4-speed automatic, It runs like an absolute champ, doesn't smoke, it's super quiet, doesn't even use any oil in it. It's got oil in it, but it's got the same amount of oil in it 3,000 or 4,000 miles later. It really just has a lot of charm to it that really makes it interesting to drive. The four-wheel drive system on it works great. It's got a low range. Of course, no lockers or anything like that. But eventually one day I'd like to throw one in there. Of course, like many people out there, you know, they're not working, jobs are shut down, they're furloughed, whatever. I'm in that boat myself. So income obviously significantly affected. But once it returns to normal, I'm going to start playing with it. Being 17 years old and a Ford, not an enormous aftermarket support for these trucks still. I did find one company, it's not the most loved company out there. Starts with an R, ends with Country, but they have a nice 4-inch lift for this. I'm going to put some 33s on it. I have a friend who's a fabricator. I know we all have those friends that are fabricators, but he works at a Jeep shop. He's a legit one. We're gonna make a nice roof rack for the back, do you know, those obligatory jerry cans and traction boards and rooftop tent and all that cool stuff. But inside, especially for a 17-year-old truck, excellent condition. Seats, great shape. Things that aren't in great shape, 17-year-old Ford plastics up top, so obviously all cracked up. So threw a little rug up there to clean it up a little bit. At some point, one of the owners put something on here. I don't know if I don't know what they were doing, but it absolutely ate up the surface on this on these doors. So either going to paint those or find some in a junkyard. Shouldn't be that big a deal. Factory radio, definitely going to ditch that sooner than later. Has the factory sunroof, totally works, totally leaks. I believe it's one of the drains, because the seals and everything still look like they're pretty good, but I'm sure the seals, or not the seals, but the drains are absolutely clogged up, because right there towards the back window leaks like crazy when you take it through a car wash or it rains, and it is not the trim piece on the back. I already siliconed that up, still leaks. But overall, AC works great on it. All the buttons and everything work great. Really, really enjoy driving this truck. It's got the little clamshell doors in the back. Really nice little truck, but I enjoy it a lot. I plan on doing all kinds of cool stuff with it. I hope this video makes it to you guys over at TFL. I love what you do. Please be safe out there. And again, this is Travis in Jacksonville. Have fun.
You know, I love that black on black on black. It's really a cool color combination. And you're right, those Fords are going to become very collectible. I mean, look, he's got a step side there, right?
Yeah, that's the coolest part of this whole truck, and it's got the sport package too.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to give that a 10 out of 10. I mean, he spent a lot of time either ceramic coating that or washing it for the video. And just for that, Travis, I am giving you our highest score possible. So yeah, it's a cool, badass truck. What's next, Tommy? Well, actually, what are you going to rate it?
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. They are going to be collectible. They're not quite that collectible yet, but hang on to it for a few years and you're going to have something on your hands.
All right, what's next? Now, this is a classic, I hope, not a future classic.
Yeah, next up we have a Nissan, but not the traditional Frontier, not even a hard body. This predates all of these. This is a 720. Should we learn a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I don't know much about 720s, so roll the video, please.
Hi, TFL viewers. This is my 1986 Nissan 720 pickup truck. This is the predecessor to the D21 or the Nissan Hardbody. I got it about 2.5 years ago. I'll send along a photo of what it looked like when I got it. The prior owner had been using this as a daily driver, ended up having a head gasket go, which is a common issue with this engine. He had that repaired and then had an intake gasket fail, filling the engine with coolant. He parked it after that and has sat for about 8 years before I got it. At that point, the engine was completely seized, and so I went to the junkyard and got a prior model year 2.2 liter. Drove the truck for about a year before I decided I really liked it and wanted to fix it up. So back to the junkyard I went to get a 2.4 liter as the donor engine for the rebuild. This truck is pretty underpowered with these engines, and so it needed every little bit of displacement that it could get. I've done a couple performance upgrades for this truck, one being these mud terrain tires. They are factory diameter, and so they do not screw up the speedometer. However, they are slightly wider than factory, and so to help with that, I've installed these foam fender flares. This truck has open diffs, both front and rear. And so I've installed this Warn winch on the front just to give it a little tug when it does get stuck. It has a front IFS suspension and solid rear axle on the back, and can carry up to 1,200 pounds in the bed. I've installed a LED light bar on the back just to give it that period 1980s sports truck appearance. This truck has a little over 180,000 miles on the clock, and you can see off to the left here there's a blank gauge. If this truck had been optioned with it, yeah, it would have been a clock. This truck, because it is four-wheel drive, comes with the additional gauge cluster down by the shifter here. It has a oil pressure gauge and a battery voltmeter. It is a 5-speed manual transmission and is one of the best shifting transmissions that I've ever driven. This is the 2.4 liter Z24. It is a twin spark Hemi head engine. Both spark plugs fire simultaneously to provide a cleaner burn and better fuel economy. I've done a couple performance upgrades to this engine, one being the header and the other being this Weber carburetor. The Weber carburetor is a common upgrade for this engine and provides significantly more power and simpler operation compared to the original electronic carburetor that came with this truck. It has a couple options on it, one being power steering and the other being AC, which I've converted to R134. Hope you guys enjoyed my quick walkthrough of my Nissan truck. Thanks for watching.
Sweet.
What a cute little winch you have there. Look at that thing. It's one of those Harbor Freight winches. My God, it belongs on a side-by-side, but I guess that truck isn't all that big or isn't all that heavy. I gotta tell you, Tommy, when the Asian invasion happened for the first time, I was like, well, I was your age, and these trucks were kind of laughed at. They were kind of like, oh, look how cute, look how tiny they are. But now, looking back on them, I love them, man. They're just beautiful, they're cool, and they're really in right now, and I'm really jealous of your truck. So I'm gonna give you a 9 out of 10. I took 1 point away because of that little teeny tiny winch. Come on, dude, get yourself a bigger winch.
I think it's a Warn 2000, it looks like.
It's like a Warn negative 2000.
No, it's a small winch, but he did a great job with this truck. The the wheels on it are super period looking. They look really cool. I love the side stripes down the side and the light bar in the rear. Yeah, I think it's a complete package. We did a great job kind of tuning it up, getting it up to snuff. So I'm going to give you an 8 out of 10.
Well, there you go, guys. Another edition of Dude, I Love or I Hate My Ride at Home. And if you guys have a cool classic that you want to share with our viewers, how do they send it to us, Tommy?
Yep, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Be sure to just follow those instructions and you'll have your ride be famous, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm looking for things you hate. Maybe you have a classic vehicle that you bought thinking this is my dream car and you absolutely hate it. I want to see what you hate and why. So give that some thought, do us a walk around, and yeah, give it to us and we will make you YouTube famous.
So negative.
No, I'm just curious.
So negative, Dad.
No, it's Dude, I Love or Hate My Ride, and we've done now, maybe half a dozen of these videos, and I haven't seen the or hate my ride. And I certainly had cars that I have not been in love with, and I want to see the ones that you're not in love with.
Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned till next time. Maybe we'll get one of those.
See you guys. Ciao.